Odu'a Investment says its 10% equity stake in FCMB Pensions is a strategic move to strengthen its presence across Nigeria's financial services space. Group Managing Director and CEO Abdulrahman Yinsua joined CNBC Africa's Kenneth Ibomo earlier to discuss the company's expansion plans and broader developments. Take a listen.
You do know that Odu'a Investment Company has been around for the past 50 years. We actually incorporated way back in 1976. And as a diversified group, what we look for every time are investments that will add value to the group on one hand, and the one that can give us a lot of strategic footprint, so that down the line, another 50 years from here, I will be able to look back and say, yes, that was a very good investment. And this fits the bill. It ticks all the boxes. Thank you.
Talking about ticking all the boxes, then I'm curious to know, in terms of your strategic objectives, then how does this more or less fit within your broader portfolio transformation? Okay,
you recall that we have investment in the insurance business. This aspect of the finance industry is something that we've been looking forward to do. Pension is something that has come to stay, and the volume has continued to increase. As we speak, the overall sector has an amount in the region of about 27 trillion, in excess of that. And that is a figure that is not likely to go down anytime soon, because the Nigerian population is a youthful one, and therefore, as more people get into employment, salaries are paid and pensions are deducted or contributed by the employers. This is supposed to continue to grow. And in some economies, this is actually the kind of fund that is used to actually grow the economy. I know in Western Europe, a lot of railway establishments were actually done using pension money, because that's the one that is stable and is continuing to grow over time. So that is, for us, fits into the bill of the kind of investment that we like to do way into the future.
And for the benefit of our viewers, help us to understand more the underlying philosophy guiding your investment decisions at Odu'a Investment.
Okay, at Odu'a Investment Company Limited, three things guide what we do. Number one is the issue of sustainability. Number two is the issue of liquidity. And number three is the issue of social impact. As you know, we are not just an ordinary investment company. We are an investment company owned by the 6 states in the southwest region of Nigeria. And therefore, creating employment is something that we consider to be very, very important to our mission. But over and above that, we'd like to be liquid, we'd like to be sustainable in such a way that when you look at our investment portfolio, you see the ones that are generating income today, you see the ones that have generated income before, but they are going through what you may call a repurposing activity, or you can look at some that actually are brand new, or just trying to see how we can grow them into the future. So this fits into the brownfield, which is already existing, and we can rely on the cash flow to actually support what we're doing into the future.
Yeah, because I see that you've identified financial service as a priority for your organization, and I'm trying to imagine here, how large do you intend to this exposure to the financial services to be? And also looking broadly at that sector, what other subsectors are more attractive at this time? Is it pensions, is it asset management, or is it more insurance?
Well, I think for us, the idea is to look at the finance sector in 3 broad areas. There is insurance. I'm sure you know we have Glanville in there. There is banking, which we have the Wema Bank in there. And of course, we now have the pension on this side. So that is the tripod on which we are operating in the finance sector. But that is only one of multiple sectors. The more long-serving sectors that we are into is the real estate. I'm sure if you look at behind me, you see Cocoa House there. That has been there for the past 60 years. I mean, we just celebrated the 60th anniversary of Cocoa House last year. So this is actually the 61st year of our business in real estate in terms of significant contribution. Back in Lagos, of course, places like Western House. And those are buildings that have been there almost as much as we can remember Lagos in terms of the iconic buildings in there. That is on Broad Street. Now, beyond real estate, we're also into hospitality. You don't need to be reminded of say, Lagos Airport Hotel in Ikeja, or for that matter, when you go into Ibadan, you have the Lafia Hotel. So we're trying to redevelop all of this, and a case in point is Premier Hotel in Ibadan. Now that building has now been redeveloped as we speak. It's moving from about 87 room building to about 154 rooms now. Beyond that, it can boast of not one, not two, not three, but 5 swimming pools in that place. And for the first time, we're going to have a multi-story car park in the city of Ibadan as well, as far as 7 stories in there, and a convention center as well in there. So we're trying to repurpose and recalibrate what we're doing in Cocoa House as just a starting point, because we're going to do the same thing back in Lagos. We want to develop the Lagos Airport Hotel. And it may just not end up just being a hotel. It may be something like what we call a multi-use environment, such that you can have hotel there as originally. You can also have some other real estate instruments there, maybe something like some outlets, or you can have even residential buildings in there. You can have a mall in there, where you can also do whatever it is that you want to do, shopping around there, and a bit of recreation, here and there. And who knows, maybe have maybe a health sector there, maybe a hospital building,
Quite an interesting array of assets you have in your pipeline and your portfolio there. But I'm not more curious as to how you're adjusting your capital allocation framework to preserve value, and also while you're still trying to pursue growth opportunities.
Yes, and that's a good question. If you are in here for the short term, yes, you have a bit of challenge. Or what we have done is to look at our portfolio of assets and decide that you need to rebalance them from time to time. So what we do is look at some assets that have either peaked in terms of value, and therefore you can spin them around and use the proceeds to do other things. Or for that matter, you can actually go into a JV with other investors and redevelop existing structures. So our idea is not to go borrowing to get into debt. No, we rebalance our portfolio. Everything I've spoken to you about now, there has been no borrowing whatsoever. It is all done from the internal cash flow generated from our operations.
Abdulrahman Yinsua, the Group Managing Director and CEO of Odu'a Investment Company, talking about the company's plans in terms of investment and a 10% stake in FCMB Pension. And that's where we wrap things up for today. Thank you so much for joining us here.